This video is part 3 in shitty ways to store up cash. It's a little series. I don't know how long we'll keep going with this, but I'm scouring the internet to find the most ridiculous financial advice out there that comes from these so-called experts. And then I'm breaking it down for you on why it's the dumbest thing ever. In reality, most of us don't need all this crappy financial advice. You know what we do need? What we need is to be making more money to live the lifestyle that we truly want to live. I'm Scott Sery. I'm the founder of Know to Grow. It's the program that shows you how you can take those skills and passions that you already have and monetize them so that you're making more money and you can live the lifestyle that you truly want to live. All right, so recently I came across a website that has been around for quite a while. It's at least 15 years old. And one of the blogs that was tagged as most popular was the author's personal account, his personal story on how he became a millionaire before the age of 30. Now, this is pretty cool stuff, and I'm sure that we all want to be millionaires. Obviously, the younger you can hit that $1 million mark, the better, because then you have more time to enjoy your money or to let it grow into something even more substantial. So I clicked on the link and hopped on to read this post. First of all, the tone was so arrogant, it wasn't even something that inspired. It was something that I read and I started thinking, man, is there a crash coming here where he loses it all? Now, inspirational stories are great. And the how I did it stories are wonderful to help guide people to living a better life. But they have to be done right. And this one was just kind of boastful and look at how cool I am. And in part because he started off with a little disclaimer and the fact that he just kind of got lucky. And then he talked about how he didn't even realize he was a millionaire until several years after the fact. It came across as, I have so much money, I don't even know how much money I have. You know, that type of thing. All right, so he lays out his financial journey, and he started his journey with just a few $1,000s after finishing college. He took some of that money and he invested it into stocks just before the dot-com bubble burst. If you're familiar with that, if you're not familiar with that, it kind of went like this. So in the early days of the internet, the mid to late 1990s, tech companies were all the rage, but they valued themselves more or less incorrectly. So suppose there's a small company and it was worth, let's say, $10,000. And if you valued that company, that's all they'd be worth, 10 grand or so. The way the internet was growing, they were able to take their company and project it out a couple years, and they could say, based on these projections, in 2 years we'll be worth $10 million. So when they went public and they sold shares of their stock, they had the high valuation at $10 million. And everyone saw that and they're like, wow, that's great. And they jumped on board. And that made the stocks go up even more. And they went crazy until it all kind of crashed down around them. When the market was so saturated that nobody could hit their projections anymore, these companies started to close up shop. And so instead of being worth in the millions as they thought, they ended up being worth absolutely nothing. If you got in early and you got out before it all crashed down around you, you did well. And in the case of this particular how I made my first $1 million story, he did really well. I don't remember exactly what he took. He invested something like $3,000 into whatever stock, and it just went gangbusters. And it grew to like $150,000 in a year or two. And so it's super easy to become a millionaire really quickly when you just happen to pick a lucky stock. Then the rest of the article more or less focused on these sweet jobs that he got and the real estate purchases he made. Those are two things that aren't nearly as bad as just getting lucky, but they still also involved a bit of luck. Buying a condo in San Francisco for $500,000 and then selling it a few years later for like $850,000 is not something that most people can do. So the moral of this story is that when you're out to make a bunch of money and to hit that millionaire milestone, you're going to run into a lot of these crazy success stories. And I'm not saying that they're making all this shit up, but they're not going to be something that most people can do, let alone something most people can duplicate. If you drop $3,000 into a high-risk stock, you're far more likely to lose your $3,000 than to see it grow 50 times its size in a year or two. But do you want to know the secret to making a lot of money? Work hard and make smart financial choices. Most people will do best when they're making money outside of their regular 9-to-5 job. That's how they're going to rapidly increase their net worth. But most people don't realize how ridiculously easy it is to be your own boss. I will show you just how to tap into those money-making ideas that you already have. And you can turn them into something that can get you to that millionaire status in a few years. Depends on how hard you want to work at it. Head over to www.knowtogrow.com and I'll guide you through that entire process. So, quick question. Did you like my critique of this financial journey? And would you like to see more of this? If so, give me a like. I believe it's a thumbs up on YouTube here. Send me a little comment down below and subscribe to my channel so I can keep making these videos for you.